It's time we have another chat about Aurelien Tchouameni, because he's almost certainly emerging as Manchester United's prime candidate for a statement midfield signing this summer. On the one hand, massively exciting, obviously, but on the other, an uncomfortable nagging feeling that I just have to speak about. Not from a pessimistic point of view, just one of concern. Here goes. I think it's fair to say that the midfield overhaul, it's not quite got started yet. Ederson, we're going to get that deal done now that he's finished at the World Cup with Brazil. But Matheus Fernandes didn't work out. Elliot Anderson, too expensive. What's going on with Tchouameni? Well, Tchouameni, the conversation is definitely coming to the fore, which is why I think it's time for us to have another conversation. Because if this is going to be accelerated further forward, there's a few things that I need to speak about. And I'll run through it all in this video. You can let me know what you think in the comments, as you always do. Now, before I get into this video in full, I want to say a big shout out to Betfair, because we've been partnering them during the World Cup. Get involved, man. There's a link in the description, right? I've used it. You bet a tenner, you get 50 quid in free bets. You can use them on Accas. Look, you've got to be 18 or over, be in the UK, and please do gamble responsibly. I've been using it. I've won a couple. Go me. Probably lay one on tonight on the Argentina game. Messi to score, Martinez as well. I think so. But if you want to, the link is in the description, and it's completely up to you whether you want to get involved or not. I'll be using it. But let's focus on United's midfield overhaul, right? Now, don't shoot the messenger here. Like, don't come at me. I promise you, I'm not just trying to milk this or just like repeat the conversations every day, because I think it is moving forward and then it's moving backwards. I stand by what I said previously, by the way. I think United were right to set the limits that we did with Elliot Anderson, with Matheus Fernandes, even if it did mean that we missed out on both of those. I wish that we could just fling as much cash as at anybody and anything this summer, but we did that in the past. That's the problem. That's what we're having to reel and recover from because of all those mistakes before. But if you look at the sort of candidates that keep getting repeated and the names keep coming up, Alex Scott is certainly the name I've heard the most. No real movement on him. Would I consider him a marquee midfield signing? I don't think I would. And maybe that's a disrespectful thing to say. I'd say the same thing about Andre Santos. That name kind of caught everybody off guard. But listen to the latest talk of the Devils. Listen to Andy Mitten, Laurie Whitwell, and Carl Anker and Ian Irving speaking about United's summer so far. There was one line that sort of stuck with me. Well, there's a couple of lines, actually. But this one in particular. This concept that United want a significant signing next. They want that statement signing. They want that marquee midfield signing. And when it comes to that area, I actually asked you on the live show today, it's like, what names do you think you could actually include in that? Of course, there's Tchouameni, who we're going to speak about today. A few of you actually mentioned that Bruno Guimaraes could probably fall inside that category. But other than those two, I'm really not sure that anybody would fall, be like, not named or listed, but be considered a marquee midfield signing. Do we absolutely need one this summer? I think we kind of do. I really do. I think it can be a successful window with that one. But anyway, Tchouameni, right? When it comes to the latest on Tchouameni, and you can hear it in sort of how Andy Mitten and Laurie Whitwell are reporting on it, there seems to be, and it's still only ever slight, I suppose, but the door is definitely open from Real Madrid's side. It's not as if there's no chance that he's going to be leaving at all in the slightest, wasting your time. That door's been open for a while now. And you're hearing reports in Spain now that United are going to be making their move for him. United are willing to put a lot of money on the table and push ahead for him. I'm seeing reports suggesting 100 million euros, which, can I say, is the exact same price that West Ham paid for Matheus Fernandes. Hence why United actually were willing to go that high, but only with add-ons. I've seen this from Fabrizio suggesting that wages will be a problem, but I think in reality, after everything that's happened with these two lads, I think United are probably going to have to, well, actually, just regardless of that, if you're going to go after a player like Tchouameni, you absolutely have to expect that the wages are going to be that high. But when it comes to these sort of, this familiar feeling that I don't particularly like, and you might think that I'm just sort of like repeating myself. But this is like, I suppose I'm a scarred United fan who's sitting here now looking at this summer window and thinking, right, if there's only 2 options maybe left in that marquee midfield signing, maybe we don't need one. Maybe we can find those gems, and maybe that's the sort of the way around this market. But if you are going to be going marquee and you're looking at Tchouameni, I can't help but think about the De Jong parallels, right? That summer, you know what happened that summer. Look at the date on this, 14th of July. Right, from David Ornstein, United reaching the agreement with Barcelona for De Jong. 75 million plus 10 in add-ons, 85 million euros. What happened? He wanted to stay at Barcelona. He never wanted to leave Barcelona. And we just got strung along by a manager in Erik ten Hag who said, nah, I can convince him, I can convince him, I can convince him, No, you can't, mate. And we wasted our summer going after a player who never had any intention of leaving Barcelona for Manchester United, no matter if we did agree the deal with Barcelona. And that's where I'd say this Tchouameni situation feels a bit uncomfortable in that sense. Because I've got no doubt that United want to make significant and statement signings. I've got no doubt that we were right there at the very end with Matheus Fernandes, but got blown out on wages. I've got no doubt that we wanted to sign Elliot Anderson, but I question whether we were ever willing to go anywhere near that 116 mil, which City actually ended up paying. And I'm sitting here with this Tchouameni situation, looking at him going, would that be a panic signing? Not even slightly. I think it'd be a great signing. I could easily see how he could complement Kobbie Mainoo, how it could be an elite signing with Champions League and World Cup experience coming into a midfield which desperately needs it. I don't think that would be the same sort of thing as, you know, when we went from De Jong and we panicked and went to Casemiro after we lost to Brighton and Brentford. I don't think this is the same situation as United missing out on Matheus Fernandes, crapping themselves and going, oh, bloody hell, let's just go and get Aurelien Tchouameni. He's way too good a player. And at his prime of his career as well, to be considered that sort of panic signing. That's not what I'm sort of uncomfortable with. I'm uncomfortable with the idea that United, it feels like I'm not saying all our eggs are in the Tchouameni basket right now, but if it's not him who's going to be a statement signing, does that mean it's going to be Bruno Guimaraes, who is 28, and it wouldn't really fall in line with what is an Ineos type and style signing? Not that it would be a bad one, but certainly not somebody with resale value, which I think United are going to be valuing a lot. If this is indeed correct, right, and United are going to be moving ahead and pushing forward and going for it, then we need to get that confirmation from his side. Maybe it's not possible with him at the World Cup, right? But the whispers and suggestions now from the Real Madrid side, from the Athletic, are saying that actually Real Madrid would rather sell before they buy. And then if they need to fund that creative midfield signing, then they're probably going to have to sell somebody like Tchouameni, who a lot of you actually agree with you. I think he is a very Mourinho-style player. But if United are going to go any further ahead with this, I really want us to get confirmation from his agent. Not just like whispers. If you come in and you offer the right amount, Tchouameni will want to play for Madrid. Now, that is something that Andy Mitten has said. Maybe I don't know whether he's got agents and sources and all that jazz. I'm sure he does. But if we're going to really push ahead on Tchouameni, I need the club to get something from his side, because the last thing that we could possibly need this summer is a De Jong V2. And right now, Tchouameni feels closer to a De Jong V2 style transfer than anything for me. I don't like that.